The elevator doors slid open at 11:47 p.m., revealing Marcus Chen slumped against the marble wall of the parking garage, his designer suit rumpled and his usually impeccable appearance shattered. Jake Morrison froze mid-step, his janitor's cart squeaking to a halt. In 3 years of working the night shift at Hartwell Industries, he'd never seen the CEO like this, vulnerable, human, completely undone. Mr. Chen. Jake's voice echoed in the empty garage. Marcus lifted his head, eyes unfocused. It's gone. All of it. 20 years, gone. The words slurred together, heavy with expensive whiskey and something far more painful. Jake should have walked away. He had a 7-year-old daughter waiting at home with a babysitter he could barely afford. He had his own problems, a stack of medical bills from Emma's asthma treatments, a car that coughed black smoke every morning, and exactly $37 to last until Friday. The last thing he needed was to get tangled up with the man who signed the checks that barely kept his head above water. But something in Marcus's eyes stopped him. It was the same hollow look Jake had seen in his own mirror the night his wife left, choosing her career over their daughter, over their life together. It was the look of a man who'd lost everything that mattered. "Let me help you," Jake said, parking his cart. What happened next would change both their lives forever. Jake managed to get Marcus's keys and half-carried, half-guided him to the black Mercedes SUV in the executive parking spot. Marcus mumbled about board meetings and hostile takeovers, about his daughter at Stanford who wouldn't return his calls, about a wife who'd served divorce papers that morning after finding out about the company's impending bankruptcy. "Where do you live, Mr. Chen?" Jake asked, starting the engine. Marcus waved vaguely. "Somewhere expensive and empty. Just like me." Then he passed out. Jake checked Marcus's wallet for an address, a penthouse in the city's most exclusive building. The drive would take 40 minutes. He should have called someone, anyone else. But at midnight, who would come? And something told Jake that Marcus Chen, despite his wealth and power, was utterly alone. The penthouse was everything Jake expected, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the glittering city, furniture that cost more than Jake's annual salary, and a silence so profound it felt suffocating. He got Marcus to the couch, found aspirin and water, and was about to leave when he noticed the framed photographs scattered across the coffee table. A younger Marcus with a beautiful woman and a little girl, all three laughing at Disneyland. Marcus in a cap and gown with proud parents. A family that had existed before the money, before the corner office, before whatever had broken everything apart. Jake's phone buzzed. The babysitter. "Emma's having trouble breathing. Not serious but wants her daddy." His heart clenched. He looked at Marcus, unconscious and vulnerable, then at his phone. Every instinct screamed to run home to his daughter. But he also remembered the 3 weeks last year when Emma was hospitalized, when he'd had to miss work, when he'd faced losing his job. Mr. Chen had personally approved his extended leave. Jake hadn't known the CEO even knew his name, but someone had advocated for him. He made a decision. He called his neighbor, Mrs. Patterson, the retired nurse who doted on Emma. She'd help until he got home. Then Jake did what he did best, he took care of things. He found coffee and started a pot. He located Marcus's phone and turned off the alarm that would have blared at 6 a.m. He found a blanket and covered the sleeping CEO. Then he noticed Marcus's laptop, open on the dining table, showing an email draft. Never sent. To my daughter Lily, "I'm sorry I missed your life while building an empire. I'm sorry I don't know your favorite color anymore, or the name of the boy who broke your heart last semester, or that you changed your major from business to art history. I'm sorry I became the father I promised myself I'd never be." Jake's throat tightened. He understood now. This wasn't just about money or business. This was about a man who'd climbed so high he'd lost sight of what mattered. Jake sat down and wrote a note on the pad by the phone. "Mr. Chen, drink the coffee and take the aspirin. You told me tonight that you've lost everything, but I don't think that's true. It's never too late to find your way back to what matters. Also, you might not remember, but you saved my job last year when my daughter was sick. Tonight, we're even." Jake Morrison, night custodian. He was locking the penthouse door behind him when his phone rang. "Mrs. Patterson, Jake, you need to get home. Emma's worse." The 20-minute drive took 12. He burst through his apartment door to find Emma sitting up in bed, breathing easier, Mrs. Patterson holding her hand. "Daddy." Emma wheezed. I had a bad dream you weren't coming back. Jake held her until her breathing normalized, until the fear left her eyes, until she fell asleep in his arms. He'd made it. Barely, but he'd made it. The next morning at work, Jake expected nothing. He'd done what anyone should do, help someone in need. But when he reported for his shift, his supervisor pulled him aside with an odd expression. Mr. Morrison, Mr. Chen wants to see you. Top floor. Immediately. Jake's stomach dropped. Had he overstepped? Was he being fired for taking the CEO's car? The executive suite was a world away from the basement where Jake stored his cleaning supplies. Marcus's assistant ushered him into an office overlooking the city. Marcus stood by the window, looking tired but sober, clear-eyed. Jake. Marcus extended his hand. Thank you for last night. You could have left me in that garage. Should have, probably. Anyone would have helped, sir. But they didn't. You did. Marcus gestured to a chair. I read your note. You're wrong about one thing, or not even. You saved more than you know. He slid a folder across the desk. I spent this morning making calls. First to my daughter, we talked for 2 hours. Then to my lawyer about reconciliation counseling with my wife. Then to the board about some major changes in my life and this company. Jake didn't understand. Marcus continued, you have a daughter with asthma. Medical bills you're drowning in. I pulled your file. You've been passed over for every promotion because you don't have a college degree, despite being one of our most reliable employees. He pushed the folder closer. Inside is a full scholarship to our company's education program. Complete your degree on company time, with full pay. Also, effective immediately, you're our new director of facilities management. Quadruple your current salary. Full medical coverage, the kind that actually covers chronic conditions. Jake's hands shook as he opened the folder. Mr. Chen, I can't. You can and you will. But that's not all. Marcus's voice cracked slightly. Last night, I hit bottom. I was ready to give up on everything. Your note reminded me that success isn't measured in stock prices or corner offices. It's measured in moments, like a father rushing home to his sick daughter. Like a man who helps a stranger when he has every reason to walk away. He pulled out another document. I'm stepping back from day-to-day operations. Spending time with my family, trying to rebuild what I broke. But I'm also establishing the Chen Family Foundation for single parents facing medical hardships. You're going to help me run it. If you'll accept. Jake couldn't speak. Tears blurred his vision. You helped me when I was at my lowest, Marcus said quietly. You saw a person, not a position. You chose kindness when you had every reason to choose yourself. That's the kind of humanity this world needs more of. That's the kind of person I want my daughter to meet, to learn from. 3 months later, Jake stood in cap and gown at his first college class graduation ceremony. Emma sat in the front row, breathing easy thanks to new medications they could finally afford. Next to her sat Marcus, his wife Diana, and their daughter Lily, who'd become Emma's art tutor and friend. Marcus caught Jake's eye and nodded. In that moment, both men understood something profound. True wealth isn't measured in what you accumulate, but in what you give away. One act of kindness in a dark parking garage had rippled outward, transforming not just 2 lives, but creating circles of compassion that would continue long after. That night, as Jake tucked Emma into bed in their new apartment, modest but warm, safe, theirs, she asked, Daddy, why did Mr. Chen do all those nice things for us? Jake smiled, kissing her forehead. Because sometimes, sweetheart, when we help others without expecting anything in return, we create magic. We remind each other that we're all human, all struggling, all worthy of compassion. Like you helped him, and like he helped us. That's how kindness works. It circles back, grows bigger, touches lives we'll never even know about. Emma's eyes drifted closed. I want to do that too. You will, baby. You will. Outside their window, the city lights twinkled like stars, and somewhere across town, Marcus Chen sat with his daughter, truly present for the first time in years, proof that it's never too late to find your way home.